Your eyes didn't lie when they told you how dominant Leonard Williams was on Sunday against the Cardinals. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Made it to Friday, made it to the end of the week. We are looking ahead to the weekend here, but before we get there, we do what we always do on Friday. We look at the pass rush numbers, we do our pass rush Friday, and then we move on. And that game against the Arizona Cardinals, to my eye, looked pretty great in terms of pass rush stuff. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Pro Football Reference was not quite so positive. They didn't think that we did poorly, necessarily, but they definitely were a lot less kind than Pro Football Focus. And that's to be expected, but there's also a certain degree of balance that you expect between the two sites, where maybe Pro Football Focus will over-exaggerate it by about 70%. And if that equilibrium is maintained, it kind of feels like both sites are on the same wavelength, even if their numbers are different. But that's not really what happened this week. So we'll get into it here in a second. But I'll just go ahead and say it. I don't know if I totally agree with the numbers they have come out with. And I think that Pro Football Reference is probably underselling things just a little bit personally. It's possible some of the numbers they have didn't even get updated yet. I did mention yesterday that the pass coverage numbers were not fully updated, so it's possible they're running behind this week. I don't know, but we're going to roll with it. And if there are discrepancies that they did not intend, they'll be fixed next week. So we'll take that into consideration, and we'll take a look at the numbers they did give us. So Leonard Williams was the star of the show, obviously. 4 pressures according to PFR. PFF gave him 7, which that's actually kind of the harmony that I'm looking for from both sites. If PFF gives 7, I think PFR will typically give about 4. So about the same harmony, I would say. And I'll tell you, that's not his best game of the year. They gave him 6 against New England back in week 2. So I have to disagree with their assessment that that wasn't his best game of the year. But we also have to remember that, unlike against New England back in week 2, a good chunk of his pressures ended in sacks. So that's always going to look better. By the way, Leonard Williams has now hit my total season projection. So the guy's been a monster. Remember, he's missed some time. He's gotten hurt this season and missed, what was it, a game and a half? Something like that. Maybe it was more. So, credible season. Loving what I'm seeing from Leonard Williams. Byron Murphy, this one's interesting, right? He has now gone 8 straight games without a single pressure from PFR. And this comes despite the fact that if you take a look at some of the pass rush win rate metrics from like ESPN, he's near the top for interior linemen. So he's winning his reps in the trenches, but they're not resulting in pressures. And what that probably means is that his disruption is clearing the way for other players. Okay, great. I'm happy with that. At the same time, though, it's not like our other players are wrecking shop. So there seems to be a little bit of a disconnect here. And Pro Football Focus is probably, Pro Football Reference is probably underselling it a little bit. But I do wonder if a stat like pass rush win rate is overselling it a little bit. Worth the debate. Jarran Reed, he had a pressure in this game, 1, and that was actually it for the defensive line. We only had 5 defensive linemen play. Hankins and Roy Robertson Harris were the others. You can actually see that Jarran Reed is now very close to hitting my season projection for him. Now, I will say this. I way overshot on Murphy, and there are a couple different reasons why that might be. But Williams and Reed need to overshoot to account for the fact that Murphy is lagging far behind, and we're not really getting anything from the depth guys. Mike Morris has been basically a non-factor this year. He got 1 pressure in week 1, and he may as well have not been on the team since, if we're being honest. So we need those guys to overachieve because we're not getting some of the reserve contributions I was hoping for. Okay, linebacker, Ernest Jones, still nothing, which, I mean, this is getting kind of annoying because this is one of his great strengths as a player, and we haven't been able to really access it yet. However, Tyrese Knight picked up not only his second career pressure, but his first career sack. So I'll live with that, man. I will be okay with that trade-off. Congratulations to Tyrese Knight. 2 weeks in a row with the pressure. He's already exceeded my expectations. Now, my expectations were built on him not playing that much this year. I didn't know that Baker was going to get traded and Dodson was going to get released. Regardless, though, he's doing his thing in every way possible. There's no way in which he's really looking poor. There's no way in which he's looking like he's exposed as a rookie. So, yeah, Tyrese Knight, man, cooking. That's it for the inside linebackers. So that gets us to 6 total after looking at the first 2 groups. Edge rusher, I'm going to say it. I'm not 100% convinced here. Boye Mafe got 1 pressure in this game. I think that's probably about right. That was the sack that he got. Other than the sack, I'll admit, I don't think he had a massive impact on any one particular play throughout the rest of that game as a pass rusher. I think he batted down a pass on another play. So, there were other ways in which he contributed, and everybody contributed to the run defense playing as good as it did. But 1 pressure, okay. But then they give nothing to Derek Hall. Not sure I buy it. And Dre'Mont Jones got 1. Again, I'm not sure I buy it. I will say there is something going on here with Dre'Mont Jones where a lot of his pressures don't affect the play that much, which is why PFF and PFR are radically different on him. I think that PFF is giving him more than double what PFR does. Regardless, though, that's only 2 from your edge rushers. That's usually not a winning formula. And you can look. You can look at the early season numbers from the edge crop. It was way better than this. We were getting 8, 9, 6 pressures in a lot of the early games from the edge rushers. And now we're down to like 3 and 2. And in games we've won, these last 2 games we've won, and still it's like, where'd the pressure go? And we need Nwosu back. And it sounds like he has a real good chance of being back for the Cardinals. Hopefully that gives him enough time to get ramped up in time for the end of the year when we really need him. I'm wondering if maybe Derek Hall is hitting a little bit of a wall here, and maybe Mafe is less than 100% because their production has just really stalled out. I still like where both players are going overall. I still am high on both players, but Mafe in particular, after starting the season on fire those first 3 games, has been very, very invisible in the pressure numbers ever since, really, you could say the losing started, back when we lost against Detroit in week 1. Now, understand he didn't play in that game, but once he got back, he's been far less impactful. And Derek Hall had injuries early this season as well, and you can see that the first 5 weeks, lighting the world on fire, and since then, it's been slow. Thank you to Dre'Mont Jones for keeping things alive, I guess. Cornerback, Witherspoon had the 1 pressure. I'm pretty sure it was the pick 6, so it was a big pressure. I mean, that's a game-changing pressure right there. So he's doing the things that I thought he was going to do this year, more or less, being used on the blitz. He's in line to meet the projection. Nothing else from any other cornerbacks, though, and nothing from any safeties. So you get 9. Not really that good, right? You look early in the season. We were doing way better than that. We did better than that against the Rams 2 games ago. So, yeah, PFR, not great. So, everyone draw your own conclusions. Watch that game yourself. And I think you will probably come to the conclusion that PFR sold us a little bit short. There's probably a few more pressures in there that they just didn't give us credit for. It sure seemed like Murray was under duress through much of that game. I will say that Arizona doesn't throw the ball that much, but they threw the ball a good amount in that game. So again, I'm a little, I don't know. I'm not buying this. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. More videos coming later. I will see you guys soon. Go Hawks. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think this number is selling it short, because I feel like it did. I really feel like it did. And I feel like this pass rush deserves a little more credit than this. But this is why I look at PFF and PFR. It balances out, and you get 2 different perspectives. and you understand the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks.